It's going great. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, it's been so awesome. I was watching you on my laptop. I was watching most of all of the speakers. It's been so amazing. It's a pretty great day. It's a big day. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm super pumped. I've been excited all day to talk about guarantees with you.
Awesome. Guarantee sales. Yeah, let's do it.
I think the reason that it's been like, this was one that I was like last night, I'm going to bed and I'm thinking about, wow, this could be a game changer for people, because just the question I was answering, and I don't know if you were able to hear that while you were trying to get on. Someone asked earlier, hey, what do we do when sellers are uncertain about selling, right? And the guarantees are a perfect way to solve for that. So can you first kind of introduce yourself, share with people what market you're in, a little bit about your business, and then we'll dive right into the guarantees?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Tom Daves. I'm with eXp Realty in Sacramento, California, Northern California, and been in the business for over 35 years. I started when I was 12. And I think my favorite saying is from Wayne Gretzky: you have to skate to where the puck is going to be. Let me get my mic a little closer. Wayne Gretzky says you have to skate to where the puck's going to be. So whether it's been traditional real estate, REO and foreclosures, iBuyers, Blackstone flips, building a big team, I've really been able to leverage the current market with a lot of the team that I have to have fun. And right now, I mean, that's why we're all here today, is because where's this puck going to be with the COVID, right? So yeah, I've been in the business for a while and I'm having a lot of fun, and great to share with all of you guys. And a little bit about the guarantee sale. I started the guarantee sale about 7 years ago when I jumped into radio and TV experts, and it was a real differentiator for me. I just came out of the REO run and then also working with the iBuyers and Blackstone, and I really needed a differentiator. So I heard about radio and TV experts and the guarantee sale program, and it really helped because I felt that it really added a lot more value to the consumer. It basically gave them options. And that's why we're here, is to serve our clients and give them different options. And it also takes away fear. I mean, let's face it, whether you're going through a pandemic or not, there's a lot of fear that's involved with selling your home because it's the largest investment that most people have in their lives. So I started implementing the guarantee sale program. We of course advertised on the TV and the radio, and it definitely makes the phone rings. It makes the phone ring so you can get in front of the clients and let them know what their options are. Let them know that you know, they can list their home on in the traditional market. They can list their home with the guarantee sale program, where if the home doesn't sell in, for example, 60 days, we'll buy it for a pre-agreed upon price. And or the other option is just a cash buyer. Offer an iBuyer instant offer to the sellers. And I've found they really like it. They like the different options, and it really helps them out. Let me get some water here.
Sure, I just had to do the same thing. I'm like, whew. So for those of for the people who are listening right now that have never done a guaranteed sale, can you just explain, you said 60 days or you'll buy it. Have you always gone straight to buy it? Is that how all of your guarantees are structured, or do you also structure other guarantees?
Great question. So I give them basically three different options. So when I put together the structure, of course, obviously, I'll put together the you know, the market analysis and really identify the true value of their home, and then go out and take a look at the property, and then we'll do a scope of work, just a quick scope of work, what improvements it needs, if it needs any repairs, and if I do end up with this property, how much will I need to put into that property in order to sell it. And then I usually am able to make them an offer right there on the spot, what that guarantee what the guarantee would be. And so I let them know, if you want top market value, this is what the price is in today's current market. And but if you want a guarantee, it's going to be pretty close to plus or minus 80% of the market value would be my guarantee, and I will buy it in 60 days at 80% of the current market value. And then I also give them an instant offer, and that's usually between 70 and 75 cents on the dollar. So they have options. A lot of sellers really like the guarantee. In our market, there's a lot of brand new homes, new construction. A lot of the buyers are needing a guarantee to complete their contract with the builder, so they can move forward, remove their contingencies on their new home. And yeah, it really works out great. A lot of the sellers don't really like the 80% of the market value price. And yeah. I share with them, I said, if I were you, unless you really have to, our market is so hot right now, especially, let's just put it on the market and get top market value. Definitely.
Awesome. So so it sounds like all of what you've focused on and what's been successful for you is the buy it, and you give them 3 options, which I love, because I think people respond well to choices, even if they hate one of the options. So like getting 70 cents on it doesn't matter, because you've said here are 3 choices and then they get to choose. Most real estate agents are coming in with one option. You
right.
Put your home on the market and I try and sell it. And by the way, if I don't sell it, there's no consequence to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it becomes more of a collaborative effort and a consultation where I'm sharing with them, here are the comps. This is what the market is doing right now. These are the other homes that are selling. For me to come in and buy this home, this is how much it would cost to rehab it, repair it. And these are my expenses. So then they can see right there what the expenses are, what the cost, and then it just makes it a lot better. And you're exactly right. People they really they like options.
Absolutely. So one of the things that my team, I said this earlier, but I didn't elaborate on it. My team hates about me is that all of our guarantees are very fluid. Okay, so we offer guarantees that will sell it for free, that will cover their carrying costs, right? So I try and get my listing agents to identify where the fear and stress is coming from for the seller and use the guarantee to shore up that fear. So as an example, if I have somebody who says, oh, man, the idea of carrying 2 mortgages, I just never want to be in that situation. Okay, if we could guarantee that won't happen, would it help you have more confidence in buying your next home? And they're like, obviously.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're prepared to structure a situation to help you have that confidence, where we'll pay up to 100% of our commission to cover all of the carrying costs if we can't sell your home to make the transition smooth. So that's an example of something where when you start out as a listing agent on my team, you're like, oh, but I don't feel really sure. And I'm like, but how can I tell you every client's fear, every client's hot button, right? You have to get in the room and hear them out. And so I've had deals where we've said they were afraid, I don't want to carry it all winter, right? Because they're going to list December 1. And they're like, what if we don't get a contract right away, then no one's going to buy till after Christmas, or you're November 1 and they're worried about Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're like, all right, the average days on the market in your neighborhood, it's 43. But we'll do better than that. If we can't sell it in 30, we'll start paying for all the carrying costs, or we'll split the carrying costs with you. So we'll take on half. So my whole goal with the guarantees, even though I am willing to buy it and I have done that, I look at that as like how there's so many steps in the middle. So if you guys are listening right now and you're terrified of the idea of buying a home, there's so many other things that you can do to create a win for the client and differentiate yourself from all the other agents that they're interviewing with. So Jose just made a comment, Tom, that he feels like it's a good conversation starter. So having advertised this on the radio and on TV, you know that's the case, right? So can you just talk a little bit about what it did for the amount of leads coming in?
Sure, absolutely. Well, the first thing that we did is we hired basically a local celebrity to endorse myself, either local or national. I mean, Barbara Corcoran, or here locally is, you know, Christina Mendonça and Jody Stevens. So first connected with them on a high level, and then they were able to market and advertise on the radio that, you know, something about, you know, Tom Daves, if he doesn't sell it, he'll buy it. He'll sit down with you and agree upon a price and a deadline. And if the home is not sold in that deadline, he will buy it. And if I were to sell my home, I would call Tom Daves. So because it's an endorsed advertise, or, you know, an endorsed friend that we have that promotes me, I believe it's so much better than, you know, advertising on the radio myself. So that's the first step. So the people will call me or call our office and they want to meet. So it's definitely a great way to get your foot in the door. And then once you, it's kind of funny though, to be honest with you, because probably about 80% of the time when they call, they will ask about the guarantee sale, and then I'll meet them, look at the house, and we'll sit down and I'll do the needs analysis and ask them the questions, and then go into our value proposition, and then basically close. And the guaranteed sale, 80% of the time it never comes up. Yeah. But if it does, then, you know, of course we share with them what our program is and how it works and how we can serve them. Another thing that I thought about is recently, I mean, we've all heard about these iBuyers that over the last couple of years, they've definitely been one of my biggest competitors. You know, Zillow, Open Door, you know, all of these companies purchasing homes. But about 4 or 5 weeks ago with this pandemic, all of them basically pulled their offers off the table and they quit making offers. So I had a lot of people call me, reach out to me. They wanted to know about our guarantee sale so we could really help them. I mean, they were scared not only because of the pandemic, but they were also scared because they are in contract with a brand new home and they need help. And so I've been able to, you know, talk about testimonials. It's great to meet with people that have had some pain, or they've had, you know, a problem where they were in contract or they need to sell their home really, really bad. And then we came in, gave them options, and then purchased their home. And they were able to acquire, you know, get into their new home. So those are really good things that we can leverage moving forward. And as we've been talking about, you know, that's the key, is video, digital, testimonials, reviews. So moving forward, that's definitely something that I strongly recommend. I mean, everyone's on social right now, right? And I know you're doing an amazing job of that, Keri. That's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Jose just asked, he said he saw your Corcoran commercial and it's top level. He said, how does he get an influencer to endorse him? Or how did you get, he asked it, how do you get someone to endorse you? But I'm changing it to, how does he get someone to endorse him? Okay.
Okay. I like that. So in a lot of cases, it's not only what you know, but it's what you know and who you know. So for myself, I connected with radio and TV experts, Matt Wagner, and he is really good friends with Barbara Corcoran. So that would be a good place for you to start. Reach out to Matt Wagner, radio and TV experts. And if she's available in your area, then, you know, they can connect you. Yeah, that's great. And I think that was the first time that I met you, Keri, was in New York doing the Barbara Corcoran shoot.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I, just to be clear, I stalked Matt for
Okay.
years because there was somebody, just so you guys know, just because there's someone in your area, do not give up. Because I have put a lot of my advertising dollars in the digital side, but it's not because I had an endorsement by Barbara as well. And it's not that it wasn't working for me. It was. And I really enjoyed that trip where I got to collaborate with people like you, Tom. It's because I was thinking, how do I reduce my costs and have a broader audience as I was trying to scale in my area? I think that you can take endorsers like Barbara, and if rate isn't available, what I was saying about stalking Matt, he said, look, there's nothing I can do. Your area is full. And I'm like, okay. And so I started sending him the stats of the agent who was in my area, who had the territory. And I was basically saying like, hey, you're doing reputational damage to yourself because you have somebody who's not a producer and he's not a closer. He closed 4 deals last year. And he's like, no way. I'm like, yes, he closed 4 deals last year. So that's you putting your so bottom line, because I was the squeakiest wheel in the market, I got the phone call first when that person decided to move out of the area and retire. I'm like, yes, I'm in. So I would definitely recommend rate and say, just reach out to them. If you want someone to endorse you and you want to do television and radio, what works better for you, television or radio?
Actually, radio works a lot better. I really created some great branding with television with Barbara Corcoran. I did it for 2 solid years, but then I just went to digital. So have all of my Barbara Corcoran commercials and videos on websites, on social. And it's kind of funny. People will still say to me, they go, hey, I saw you on TV last night. I'm like, yeah, right on. But, you know, another thing that you remind me of, and that goes with one thing that has been so fantastic, is the level of relationships that you create through these other, you know, through, for example, through radio and TV experts. I mean, connect with other people at a high level. And as I've heard earlier on this, on your webinar today, it's so important to connect with influencers. And just like Jim Rohn says, you know, you're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. One other thing that I thought about with the guarantee sale and with the iBuyer and offering options, right now, more than ever, back to the fear, people are also afraid of this pandemic right now. So that gives them assurance, and that they won't have to have people coming through their home. They won't have to have any tours. And so that is really, really helpful, because in a lot of cases, the main reason why people are selling, it's not always price. You know, that's not on the top of their list, is price. Yeah. They would rather, in a lot of cases, you know, just keep it simple and move forward. And there was one other thing that you mentioned earlier. Right now, there are a lot of people on the sidelines. There are so many sellers out there, so many people that are sitting on the sidelines. And if we're able to reach out to them through our lead generation, whether it's calling, whether it's social media, whether it's email, whatever, through our database, and let them know that they have options, they have a guaranteed sale, then it's going to be just enough to help them to move forward.
That makes sense. And when it pushes them off the fence, when someone calls your office, I loved what you said earlier about 80% of the people, when you get to the appointment, they never bring it up again, because it's so true. There's still fears, because that's why they called. But when you're dealing with the call, and we have a really specific way of dealing with it, so I'm curious how you do, and they say, hey, Tom, we saw your guarantee. What will you buy my house for? Right? That's like, what are you going to pay? How do you handle that?
Right. Well, I handle the calls myself. So when they call, then, of course, I'll ask them what their timing is, where they're moving to, and if they have a ballpark idea, how much they feel their home is worth. And then they'll get into the guarantee sale. Yeah, well, I understand that you have a guarantee sale program. I want to know, how much will you buy it for? And I just let them know that it differs from case by case, home to home. I'll sit down with you and we'll agree upon a price and a deadline. And if the deadline comes and your house is not sold, then I'll buy it. Are weekdays or weekends better? And in most cases, then we're able to go ahead and set that appointment. But they may push it a step further. Well, just give me a percentage. What's the percentage that you'll pay? And I say, I'll be honest with you, there's so many different variables. I'm not willing to make that offer until I see the inside of your home. I need to get inside your home. And that usually helps us set the appointment to connect. But I know a lot of people ask that. What's your response to that, Keri?
So along the same lines, I think a big mistake is that really high D clients, the agents are surprised by how direct they are. And so sometimes they don't handle it well and they start walking themselves into a corner. The person's like, tell me about your commission structure. How does your commission structure work? What is the guarantee? How do they work? So I always say they work really well. When's a good time for us to sit down and talk about it and look at your house? And then I'll go right into the close, just like you did, and say, are weekends usually better or weekdays? That's just like a way to move them towards your future pacing them into that you're going to sit down. But if they're trying to ask, I say, listen, I'm sure you don't expect that I'm going to tell you what I'll pay for your home without being able to see it, do you? So
Right.
when you ask that question, they're like, well, no. Okay, great. So when's a good time for me to see it? I'm all about the whole focus of that. Jose said it best, like, hey, it's going to make the phone ring. But if you don't know how to make the appointment from the phone call and convert that, you're missing major opportunities. And there's too many people who try and disclose too many facts up front instead of having confidence that the program works, and they just need to sit down and talk about it. And if you have a hard fast, like every single time you're doing 80% of the market value, I think that's a mistake. That's a guideline. And I'm sure you do it this way, Tom. But if you went to a house, what's next door is going to impact the property value. Like if there's a dog that's going to be there that's barking that's going to impact the value. If there's tenants in the house, that's going to impact the value. So there's so many variables. If
what if it has an odor? What if it stinks?
Yeah, so you have to see that, because
right.
It's easier to deal with that up front than to make a guess and be wrong. And I think on a broad scale, a lot of people lose business by trying to entertain the client's questions on the phone. Don't do it. Just don't answer the questions and move past them to explain why you need to sit down and see them. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. One other side thing that I just love about the Barbara Corcoran video, or any video or any endorsement that anyone has, or if you have a testimonial of a great client, of course, you want to match the testimonial to the seller that you're in front of.
Yes.
But what I always do is I just go ahead, pull out my tablet, and at the very end, when I'm done with the listing appointment, I just bring out either my tablet or my cell phone, and I just go right into the Barbara Corcoran video with me, and then it kind of brings things up to a crescendo. What do you think? Would you like to get the paperwork started and get your home sold? So it's kind of cool.
It adds a little flair for drama at the very end. They're like, and most people know Barbara because of Shark Tank, right? So they're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, you were on Shark Tank. Right. But it can work with any testimonial that we have. I mean, I would just recommend to get as many video testimonials from your clients as you can. And the best way is, of course, to come up with a problem. Step number one is, these sellers had a problem. They had to sell their home to meet with their grandkids and live in Walla Walla, Washington, but they had it listed before with another broker and it didn't sell for 90 days. And then from there, then they heard about you, or they heard about Keri, or they heard about Tom Daves. He came in and with, his guaranteed sale, his amazing program, he was able to sell their home in 2 weeks, get them multiple offers, and now they can safely move to Walla Walla, Washington. So it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet story, but with a happy ending, right?
I love it. One of the things with testimonials too, the clients don't always remember how you coach them to do the testimonial is so important. Hi, Abby. Because if you just leave it to their own thinking, they're going to say, Tom is wonderful. He was such a good guy to work with and he took great care of us. That's not that powerful of a testimonial. If they say, here's the problem I faced, then you know how to pair them with future sellers so that really feels like the testimonial is talking to them. Makes a dramatic difference. So I love that feedback. That's gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And, facts will make people think, but emotions will make people act. So when you can connect the emotions, because let's face it, life is an emotional experience, right? I mean,
Yes.
And especially selling your house, your largest investment with your kids and your family and your money. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, thank you. This has been absolutely amazing, Tom. I appreciate your time and the value. And if anyone who's watching right now has a burning question, what's a good way for them to connect with you?
Okay, you can just reach out tomdaves.com, or you can go to my Facebook, Tom Daves Team.
Tom
Awesome.
Daves. Okay, awesome. I just saw one other question from Jose. And Jose, we appreciate all your questions. I love it. What is a value that he can offer to win an endorsement? So I'll say something about that. They're paid endorsements. So most of the time, if you're going to get a Barbara Corcoran, she's not doing it because of value. She's doing it because of cash, right? Abby's like, yes. Abby was a TV personality, so you've done endorsements, right, Abby?
Yes, I have done endorsements. I do not do them for free.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I think that's something where you would pay most of the time. Have you had any endorsements, Tom, that were for you were getting the endorsement for some value you were offering?
I think the only other endorsements were through a lot of my affiliates that I work with, my different business partners, through my church, through my database, my clients. But other than that, yeah, definitely to go to that level, it definitely takes cash as well.
Yeah, cash is king in that situation.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you again, Tom. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Keri.
Hope to see you soon.
This was awesome. Nice to meet you, Abby.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest HyperFast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for staying to the end of our video. For more videos like this, click here. If you're looking to get notifications when we do a new video, make sure you subscribe below. See you soon.